The Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
As you know, for several years now, we've had Harry Fitzgerald as part of the team. Well,
Yes.
that runs out on Friday.
Yep.
He's gone on to bigger, better
you know
things.
what?
Yeah, he's rejecting us.
For years, we've been calling Harry a tall drink of water. And little did I realise, after not seeing all of his brothers, that he's a tall glass of tap water.
Yes.
We've got some bottled water here.
Yes. We've gone top shelf Fitzgerald.
He's good. He's good.
So
Give us the
why don't
introduction,
you
Harry.
introduce our guest?
Welcome to the show, Leo Fitzgerald, younger brother.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Also in the background, Kathy Fitzgerald.
Kathy Fitzgerald brought in her mini
The
quiches.
mother,
Oh.
who's also very tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Kath, I know that Harry leaves on Friday, but your quiches are never leaving the building. We do know that you're just not that
just
far
drop
away.
them round quite frequently,
Yeah,
thank
Now,
you.
Harry, what's the reason why your brothers come in? Because we were pretty intrigued by his story.
Well, it's always a fascinating chat around
It
the
is.
whole world of below deck
Yes.
and the super wealth.
Yeah.
But Leo's been living this life for the last 6 months or so.
I have, yes. I've been working on a super yacht over in the Mediterranean. And, yeah, living my below deck dreams.
So, a super yacht is something that we could only ever be able to
Yes.
go. I think that we could go on there quickly and have a look and get straight back off.
Yeah, that's
What is
right.
it like living on a super yacht?
It's not as glamorous as it seems.
Really?
All the crew areas are pretty average.
tight?
Very small bedrooms.
You're sharing?
Yes, I'm in a cabin with 3 people.
3, and
Yes.
I'm guessing that they're as small as those bunks that we see on below
Yeah.
deck, yes?
Yep.
Like the
Small.
width of your body, that's it.
Yeah.
And
That's
it
about
seems like when you're working, you're really working. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Flat
when you're
out.
on deck, you're flat out all the time.
So what is your role? Do you have what's your actual title?
My title is deckhand.
Yes.
So basically
Sometimes
maintaining...
deckhead.
Yeah, call it. Yeah, absolutely. Just maintaining the exterior of the boat, making sure everything's clean, looks nice for the boss.
So you're literally just polishing things a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know when the owner's coming aboard? Because you work for a private owner in this case.
It's not a rental. People can't.
Is it a
hire that.
case
Yeah.
where you've got to have it absolutely gleaming because you don't know when this cat's going to turn up?
Yeah, all the time. You just got to have everything perfect. Whether, there's areas that he's never going to go.
Yeah.
But you still got to make sure they're polished, ready, looking beautiful.
But this owner is always on board.
Oh, is he?
So it's
doesn't
tough,
leave.
It's a tough
Oh
situation
my
in
God,
this
because
case.
this is a
yeah.
because
Here's the
usually
story.
they're never there.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're never there. So basically, like when
This
the owner
guy's
comes,
actually
they're
using
intruding
his
into your
super yacht.
home.
Yeah, he lives on board. So
But
we
when
only
he wants
use
to
it.
go to town, he what does he do, Leo?
He flies his helicopter, so he gets his chopper to come pick him up.
Of course you would.
I find it hard to get parking for my helicopter, so I never use it.
That's amazing.
insane.
So what's the boat worth? Do we know?
$120 million US.
And how long is it, Leo?
86 metres.
86
that's massive.
metres.
Yeah, it's huge.
And the propulsion system is so unnecessary.
Yeah, it's got a Rolls-Royce jet plane engine in the back.
How fast? What speed could you get up to if it chose to?
Top speed of 36 knots.
What's that in kilometres?
Oh, that's flying, mate.
About 70 kilometres.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
that's
quick.
flying,
It's
though.
pretty
Yeah.
quick, yeah.
So that would
pretty
take
quick.
you about 15 minutes, 16 minutes to get over to Rodo on a ship that size.
Yeah.
A ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Leo, working and living on this place, do you get to see the boss or the owner often, and can you interact with him normally?
We do see a lot of the boss. Interaction, not so much.
So don't look him in the eye, kind of deal.
Yeah, I'd try and say good morning to him every time.
Yes. Do
Only
you
got to
curtsy?
reply once.
Oh, really?
Only once, yeah.
So
Every
he doesn't
day.
even see people.
No, he
doesn't.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you're just so rich. You're so rich you don't see people of a certain price. That's
And
insane.
how many staff members?
We've got 28 crew on board.
28!
Yeah.
And most don't get a reply from him.
The people
The
who are a bit more higher
higher-upwards,
up to,
yeah.
but just me as a deckhand, no.
Any hot chicks on board?
There's a couple.
Okay, so like on below deck,
Delicately
we see a lot
asking.
of people using their decks.
Amongst the crew,
is there a
like
lot
you're
of
hooking up, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Have you hooked up with a fellow?
Not personally, not yet.
Okay.
at least.
I mean,
you got something in your sights?
Can't be easy when you're in a single bunk. Like it's.
No, I mean, people find
Yes.
a way around it. Like,
Sure.
I'll be on night shift and I'll go into one of the back rooms down the engine room and
There's-
find a few people that aren't really working.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh my God!
Say no more.
This, you know, what the dream would be for this guy that lives on the boat all the time, for suddenly a helicopter to come in, and then his age-appropriate daughter gets off, and then sees you.
Oh,
and
the
then you
super
feel like
wealthy one,
and
yeah.
then you become involved with his daughter. Does he have a daughter?
He does, but
No.
not of age.
Great.
Leo, you're talking about going around the Mediterranean on this boat and working on it and stuff like that. What parts of the Mediterranean have you seen, and do you get to pull into any ports?
And how much time do you get
and
to
go out there?
explore?
Yeah, so we don't really get any days off, so that's a bit hard, but we kind of get nights off, so we get to, if we're ported in Monaco, we'll get to go explore the town, go out, have a few beers, but unfortunately have to work the next day.
So
Yeah,
is there
sure.
a time that you have to be back before the tender goes back to the boat?
Yeah, so I do like tender runs, last one's at like 1 a.m.
What did you
Take
miss
it
the
back.
last tender run?
You're stuffed.
Yeah.
I think
You
it
just
might
get
be
on a
fireball
plane home.
offence.
Oh, it might be a fireball
Yeah, maybe.
offence.
Yeah.
Has anyone tried to take someone off the mainland back to the boat?
Not on my boat, but definitely heard
You'd have
stories.
to have a go, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, how impressive.
I know, but
But I mean, the tender of shame in the morning is tough.
not just that, and your two bunkmates.
Yeah.
They're in there as well. You asked a question before that you told him that you wanted him to answer it on air.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was.
I know now I wanted you to answer.
Oh, okay. What was it again?
The tips and stuff.
tips.
Yes, because you work on private. We all watch Below Deck at the
Yep.
moment, and so you see some of those guests. They leave, and then they leave $20,000, $30,000, and I think, is this just jazzed up
Yeah,
for the
for the
TV?
TV.
Because they've literally paid $300,000 US to be on there in the first place. How are they throwing up more money at you?
Yeah, that's absolutely real. So just kind of in the US, standard tip rate's like 10 to 15%. So if your charter costs $500,000, you
Yeah,
kind of
that's-
have to tip 50 grand, and then between
And then they just split
10
up.
crew, $5
Yeah.
grand each.
Yeah, for a week.
Is the captain included in the tips?
Yeah, everyone's included.
Jeez. So what's the biggest tip that you've heard of?
Not sure about biggest, but I know Bill Gates came on my mate's boat.
Yes.
And he only tipped $4K each. Yeah.
Cheapskate.
Gates.
Come
Absolute
on.
cheapskate.
Come on.
Come on.
Yeah.
So but you're not in the tip world because you're just employed by this guy because he doesn't rent it out.
Correct, yeah.
Bummer.
So, I work as hard and get not as much money
What are
for
your
it.
qualifications? Because people will be going, I want to do this. How did you get into it?
Yeah, so all you have to do is a course called STCW 95, which is your basic fire safety and training, and then you're good to go. That's it.
How long does the course take?
5 days.
Oh.
Hello.
Can you do that here or
Yeah, you can do
online?
it here. Yeah. Yeah,
Is there,
in person.
is there an agency?
Yeah.
just waving. She's going.
Yeah, Amy. Yeah. Stuff the kids. Alex, you got them.
Yeah.
We're away, mate.
And Mummy will see you in a year.
Leo, one of a mate of mine, Wally, he was doing it for literally 20 years. So he got a gig with this Russian oil tycoon,
Like an
and the guy
oligarch.
barely came on the boat. But when he came on one particular time, he brought a family member on, which was his brother, and they used to sit there and watch the soccer, just watch the Euros all the time, and just smoke darts and have a few jars, and then they'd fly off. This one, his brother.
Did he not have a television anywhere else?
No, the guy, the owner's brother fell into the water. I went for a swim, or either fell in or something, but he couldn't swim to save himself.
Yeah.
So my mate Wally jumped in and pulled him to the side, and that was it. They thought he was the duck's nuts, saved the brother's life, and then his job went from just working on the boat to overlooking security for this guy.
yeah,
They
right.
sent him to South Africa, and he learned how to do what would you call it? Evasive driving through the streets
Yes.
of Cape
Yeah,
Town
yeah, wow.
when people are trying to
Like a
either be
Bond movie.
paparazzi or shoot at you. And he was employed with this guy for another 10 years doing
So what
this
we're
job.
saying, Leo, is push the guy
get
off
paid a
and then
fortune.
jump in and save him.
And then save his life. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's right. Yeah,
Leo,
no pressure.
During your 6 months, what is the most obscenely wealthy thing, or the thing that you could not connect to the most that was happening in front of you, going, oh my God, this is another life?
Yeah, it's when you take your boss in on a boat that's worth like $2 million, and then you're parking it in Saint-Tropez, and then there's heaps of other boats worth that amount, and then they just go to restaurants, spend stupid amounts of money, and you're just like, I'm never gonna do this in my life.
No.
To experience such wealth, no one gets.
It's crazy,
I mean, you
isn't
don't
it?
get to do it.
It's another world.
The wealthy. I mean, this guy's probably comparative to Gina Reinhardt or something, wouldn't he be? In money.
Yeah.
When do you get to?
Yeah.
When do you get to be around that?
Aren't
What
you
an
spewing-
amazing.
Yeah.
FIFO, they dip in and dip out, right? A lot of people say that. On Below Deck, we see people have been working this job for years. What's your plan?
Only a couple of years, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I can't do it for that long. Everyone's
Yeah.
too crazy on board.
But there are
Yeah.
people that have been on board your boat that's been there for years and years and years.
yeah, for sure. People get in and just they're attracted to the money and they never leave.
And so where's the boat now?
It is
Somewhere.
Somewhere. I don't think I can answer that.
Okay, yeah, right, okay. It's somewhere. So they flew you back here for your holidays?
Yep, so they just fly you wherever you want to go in the world.
Amazing.
But I chose Perth.
But do they know where your hometown is and every time it changes?
Well, you went to Melbourne because I saw you in Melbourne a couple of weeks ago.
Correct, So you can visit Harry in Melbourne.
It's an amazing life. We've been so intrigued because we hear a lot about these stories and we see these boats on TV.
Yeah.
And to have the opportunity to work over there, be in the Mediterranean. I mean, obviously it'd be better if that owner was hardly on the boat because you hear those people that don't even turn up.
No, that's right. That's right. You've come a long way from Rottnest Express. Well done.
Bit of an upgrade,
Can I say, this is amazing. This is the age to do it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, how old are you?
23.
23.
Yeah.
It's the age to do it. I'd like to talk to people that have done a job that is a true experience that they probably did in their youth.
Yeah.
Because that's the time that you could do it.
Yeah.
And now you look upon it, look back on it fondly and go, oh. And when you tell people, they go, I cannot believe you got a chance
like
to do
nannying for a billionaire, that kind of thing. It's so good.
Yeah.
What did you get to do?
Well done, mate.
Living
Leo.
below deck life
So
like
cool.
Leo.
Yeah, I just really hope that you are clearing off a lot of barnacles. I just think it's just a balance out the magic of it all.
Yeah,
It goes too fast to get them.
Or the toilet clogs.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good idea. Thanks, Leo. Well, let's check in with Dee. Hello.
Hello, how you going?
Dee.
Morning, Dee.
Have you got a tale to tell of a job that you worked earlier in your life?
Yeah, it's actually a tale of how I met my husband.
Oh, right. Okay.
So we both umpired at the tennis. So we met at the Australian Open.
Where?
What do you mean you
Professional
umpired?
tennis umpire.
Yeah, so lots of the lines people, the ones that did the out calls and stuff like that,
Yes,
and then dabbled a little bit in the chair umpiring.
No.
Got to meet lots of players. Not that you're supposed to really talk to them, but they yelled at you a lot. So I guess got some great feedback from them.
Yeah.
And that's my husband also umpired at the Olympic Games in Sydney.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And around the world a little bit in like Singapore and some other places. So yeah.
So wait there, when did you two meet? Well, tell me about the moment. What happened?
Well, we met when I was like just turned 18,
Yeah.
and then we met for a little while and then got together when I was like 20, and I moved to Perth when I was 21 from Melbourne.
Yeah.
Did he say, do you want to go out with me?
Because I know
It was me saying lots of things, but yeah, I guess it's what you do tend to, when you work really closely with people, there was a lot of, work hard, play harder, I suppose.
I can
Just to
imagine.
make
Those lines people
types
getting
of
it on.
things.
Who do?
Long days.
Yeah.
When you get the opportunity to, as your partner did, umpire at the Olympics and or in Singapore, other places like that, do you get paid? I'd imagine you do.
Yep. So as a 17-year-old, I was getting paid hundreds of dollars a day, which was pretty cool because I was like still in school, and and you got all the. There was the first year, I don't know if you remember, but they used to have these Reebok really ugly tracksuits, and then the first year I started, Nike took over the sponsorship, we got so much swag. It was really cool. So,
That's awesome, Dee.
Everyone at school was like, "Oh, look at all your new stuff." So,
Yeah.
that was fun.
How did you get into umpiring tennis at such a young age? Like,
So I played tennis. I wasn't actually very good at it, but my friend's mum was like the secretary of our little local club, and I don't know, we did do a lot of local. I think we just went along to like a try day or something, and my friend was much better at tennis than I was and couldn't keep doing all the umpiring because she was playing, but I never made finals or anything, so I was always free to go along to more things, and eventually got selected to the Australian Open.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Just quickly before we let you go, I want to know, when you're watching these days umpiring, you're going, they don't umpire like they did back in the day. Do you see?
Well, a little bit maybe the opposite. When Hawkeye came in and all the electronic stuff, I realised maybe I actually wasn't that good at it.
Technology
Hang
gotcha.
up my boots after that.
Thanks,
good on you,
Steve.
Dave.
What a great
Great.
story
Very
to tell
funny.
people, though. Christine, hello.
How are you?
Hey,
Hey, Christine.
Okay, talk to us about that amazing job that you had.
Okay, so about 8 years ago, I think it is, I went to Canada and worked at a ski lodge for a few months, and then the the next season, I applied for this helicopter lodge.
Yes.
And only 12 people get to work at the heli lodge. And it's a private, you can only access it via helicopter.
Yes.
And then when you stay there, it's privately, like people book it out privately, and only up to 14 people stay. So it just attracts like the most richest people.
mega
you can
wealthy.
think.
Oh, my God.
The
So-
privacy.
And then,
yeah.
Yeah.
And then because you're there, you get and it's very small, you end up partying with them and get to know them, and then they end up inviting you onto the helicopter and they take you out for heli rides.
No way.
Anybody we would have heard of, Christine?
And well, someone who I don't know the name, but he was really rich, but he invented the batteries that go in defibrillators.
Wow.
That's Mr. Energizer.
Nobody knows
that's
his
from the
name.
Duracell family, actually. I'm right.
that's
It was
right.
the Duracell
Yeah, to the
family.
Duracell fortune.
That's amazing.
Christine. What a great
What a
story.
great experience.
Okay, so when you said you guys could actually socialise with these people a little bit more, was there ever a chance for romance to spark?
That's a
or
movie,
not?
isn't it, Nath?
Yeah.
No, well, I was actually there with my partner at the time, but there was a lot of people that I wouldn't say romantic, but yeah, they got
Yes,
involved.
look it up.
But
Yes.
not just that. Think about it, right? Think about it like so you can only get there via helicopter. This is a horror film just waiting to happen.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Literally, you can only get there and then you're stuck at the lodge until the helicopter comes to get you or something. That is insane.
It sounds like the scenery would be spectacular, but also I'm going with you, Nath, because if something happens, like a landslide.
Rich people like to hunt. Some rich people like to hunt people. I've seen the movies. I've seen the movies. We don't know about it, but I've seen the wealthy people. They come up to people like us. They look at us like just pories, and then they
We're
try
glad
and
you got
punch
out
us
alive,
in the forest
Christine. Thank
as
you.
a game.
Craig's in Perth. Hello, Craig.
Hey, how are you?
Good, buddy. Okay, what did you do?
Well, I started pretty young. I mean, I'm almost 50 now, but at the age of 20, I went on the QE2, and I worked up in the Penthouse Grill and the Queen's Grill there, and I met, endless stars and names, Rod Stewart, Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman.
Yes.
They were coming in with their dogs, you could take your dogs on board, and it was transatlantics, and it was the high life, So I started...
Wow, what a wild time that must have been.
Yeah.
So what was your role? You were a cook, were you?
No, I was actually just a waiter in the Penthouse Grill. But the guy you were mentioning, the 23-year-old, in terms of below deck, you've got 1,000 crew on board, and
you'd be getting it on all over the place.
Yeah. The crew bar every night was just packed. It was just crazy.
Yeah, imagine that.
So I mean, you couldn't. I mean, we slept about 4 hours a day, and then 2 of those hours were after breakfast, and then. You got back up for lunch, and then you try. If you weren't on afternoon teas, then you'd duck in, and if you were on teas, you'd try and sell the duty to someone else because you were so exhausted from the night before.
Selling your shift. That's so funny,
Craig.
And it just went on and on.
You stuck at this working on that boat in particular for a fair while. Did you move to other areas?
Oh, no, I stayed on it I stayed with Cunard for 7 years. I opened the big Queen Elizabeth, and then the Queen Mary 2, I opened that as well. As I became management, and I was running the butler side. So that's what got me into. Then I moved to Aspen on a ski resort, and I ran the private club on top of the mountain, and that's got endless. It's got 350 members. I did private parties for Rod Stewart was back in the house. Kenny Rogers. Kenny, I did a wedding at the base of the mountain, and like halfway through dinner, it was the owner of Pizza Hut.
What are they serving?
Craig, we've got to let you go, but what do you do now? What do you do now?
Oh, I do the same. I'm still doing for high-end people in Perth.
Wow.
Can I just say...
so people like us.
Natalie and I talk about this all the time in the morning because I'll pull up some mega mansion here in Perth and I always go, oh, my God, the money that lives here in Perth. Is there so much obscene wealth in Perth that most people aren't even going to see?
Massive. I mean, if you got access, I mean, I did. You mentioned her earlier, but don't mention
Gina.
her name now. I've just said it.
Yes.
Yep.
But the amount of hangars and the airports and what they've got in them is massive, and you wouldn't even know.
Yeah, amazing.
I mean, there's one guy here in town that bought 10 Bombardier jets at $85 million.
Oh! In town here, in Perth.
in town in Perth here. Lovely guy. He bought 10 of these jets. He's the main guy who sells them and buys them and does whatever he wants. So, I mean, it's so I got into a bit of that as well, you know, trying to sell him the same jet that he was trying to sell everybody else at a better price.
Craig, I think that we're going to need to get you back on one other day because I think we've only
For the full interrogation.
for the full interrogation.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean podcast.
A bit of news from my hood, everyone. Welcome to the Galleria.
You're the only one I know who go. Well, you and Amy, our producer, you go there.
I love it. I love it.
So in my
what's
mind,
left?
back in the day, because we were told that the Galleria was the Ducks Nuts, Nate.
Sean,
it was the Ducks
you would
Nuts.
come from Kalgoorlie and you'd spend the 3 days at the Galleria.
I've never been there, but yeah.
There's not much left now.
Yeah, because we were talking about it just a few weeks ago, the fact that a lot of the retailers have left because they're doing it up. Is that their theory?
No.
They're not?
No, they were saying they were doing it up.
Yeah.
But then when they were questioning if they were doing it up, the people that are supposed to be doing it up said we're not planning on doing it up yet. But yet everyone is pulling shops out because there is no one there, which in turn is a cycle.
Yeah, and they've got to pay a certain amount of rent and nobody's coming.
I can sort of see, and I said to Amy this morning, because we shop there, and I love it, I can sort of see in a few years' time that could possibly be a ghost town where they've shut it up for a few years if they don't move forward, which will be terrible for the
pull the
area.
blinds
It'll be
down on it.
horrible for the area if it does that.
Do you like shopping then because it's the thrill of not knowing if you're going to get back to your car alive or not?
Sean, it's like jumping off a building. Like
Sure.
It's like base jumping.
Yeah,
it's
base
like
jumping, yeah.
is my parachute
So
going to open or not?
brave.
Am I going to come back alive?
Love it.
But the thing I
when
really
you say
love
go
about
shopping there, where do you?
I'll go to Woolworths sometimes.
Okay, so
I'll
still
go to things like
supermarket.
Kmart, Natalie.
Oh, okay.
It's
Oh,
got
well,
a
that's
great
enough
Kmart.
then. You don't need anything else.
Yeah, they've got a things.
Of course they have.
There's still an athlete's foot there.
Okay.
There's a
That's
muffin break.
For all of the
There's a
athletic
shaver
shoes
shop.
that you buy.
The
Very
shaver shop.
important.
Yeah, but like literally you can blink and one of the shops will be closed. Yeah, and there'll be a pop-up with like plastic bangles in there or something like that. But I'll tell you what.
How many did you get?
Tell you what, well, they're on sale. You can get a park there. You can get a park
Well,
there.
yeah.
Fantastic.
If there's not a lot of shopping going on. The food court?
It's basically shut down,
Oh, okay.
which is a real shame.
Movies still there?
Movie's still there,
Okay, right.
but it's just a DVD player and you just bring your own.
On the giant
and you
screen,
bring your
that's not
own
a bad
popcorn.
idea.
You bring your own popcorn. A chick at the Galleria,
Yes.
of course, at the Galleria. She was fined $65 because she parked beyond her 3-hour limit.
Did they? And probably the only reason why they knew is because she was
She's
one
the
of
only
only 10
car.
cars in the car park. That's been there all day. All day.
But surely...
Yes, surely
if
you would encourage. Look, I know that there are shopping centres. Say Karrinyup, right?
Yeah.
Would have an issue with people park and riding, right? You know,
Yes.
so they park there, use public transport to go into the city for work. But no worries. So you get that. The Galleria, there's no one there. So
No.
that person could be shopping, could be at the movies.
Yes.
Could go and get
Because
something
I'm
to...
going to say, if you
There
go
are
to a
there's still
movie,
some cafes and
you
stuff
go in
there.
and you do a bit of shopping, you go to a movie, you go out, you get something to eat.
Yeah.
That 3 hour
Yeah.
can go very quickly if
Yeah.
you strike one of those really long movies.
But also the thought of everybody outside driving
That's right.
past and going, oh, there's a few cars.
Yeah.
This is
You're
getting
not
busy.
doing
I mean,
anybody
you're not-
else out of a car park.
No.
You're not,
By
especially
overstaying.
at the Galleria. So a spokesperson for the Galleria said that customers can shop there for 3 hours. A legal professional jumped in because everyone was saying, don't pay it. And they said, no, don't pay it. They said, you just write a letter and say, I dispute this and do not intend to pay because these are private companies.
Yes, they don't
Yeah.
have the authority.
Yeah.
Like they can't stop your license and stuff like that.
Yeah. So as we know, the Galleria, it sort of it hits a button with some people. Some of the comments down the bottom. Tina B. Yuck. Shopping centre Inigo.
Okay.
Martin P. I'd pay $65 not to go to the Galleria. And D. Who, and more poignantly, why would anyone spend more than 3 hours at the Galleria? George S.
Yes.
They should pay you to shop there. And then we got Richard E.
All right, Richie.
I got a parking ticket at the Galleria after watching Harry Potter. When was Harry Potter released?
I mean, it
jeez.
depends which one
The
of
first,
the eight.
I'm guessing it's the first. It's Harry Potter,
Yeah,
right?
it's a long time ago.
A long time. What, 15 years? 20 years? Maybe something like that? Yeah, 15.
Less than 20 because
Less
we
than
were
20?
working here.
Yeah, okay. He says, I've been waiting for the demise of the Galleria ever since. Sweet, sweet revenge. And what I love about Richard E.
Yes.
is you can hold a grudge. You can hold a grudge, and it doesn't have to be a person. It can be a place, or it can even be a thing. If you get hurt by something in your house, you can hold a grudge against that.
Yeah.
You can hold a grudge against a step on, and on your front porch.
Yeah.
You can be angry about it. I have held a grudge with the business, and we've spoken about it many times, and that is, and I'll say it clearly, sumo salad, in Karrinyup especially. That's the one that I was talking about, and there was the guy there that would refuse to fill my container up as much as all the other people that were working there were filling up their customers' containers. And every time I go there, I would pretend I'm on the phone. I'd try and time it so I didn't get him.
Yep.
And he would spot me, and he'd drop whatever he's doing. He'd literally stop serving a customer to get to me.
I've got to get to Nathan to give him half a salad.
Half a salad. And it would rage me because someone's right next to him is packing it in like, oosh, 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 onto the salad. And I just get half a salad. Oh, God, it'll get me angry. I'll get angry now still.
Breathe. My mum held a grudge for a long time against Donna Hay.
Our friend Donna Hay. Why?
I love Donna Hay because once we started having this relationship with Donna Hay, was speaking to her a lot of the times, and then I would go home on a Wednesday night when we had dinner, and I'd walk in straight. The first thing I'd do is take Mum and Dad's house. I would take Mum's vegetables off the stove straight away because she'd cook them to an inch of her life.
Because she loved to boil.
And then I
the
obviously
Brussels sprouts.
made a comment about Donna Hay said this, and from then on, that was it. Every time I walked through the door, she would say something. She didn't hold the grudge
against you for criticising her. She held the grudge against Donna Hay for being the person that you quoted.
So she'd be like, oh, are these up to Donna Hay's standards?
100%.
Wow.
And Nathan, never forget, 15 years ago, almost to the day actually, we interviewed Jason Bateman.
We went from love to hate.
We loved that man so much for his fine work in Arrested Development, and his interview was so awful that we refused to see anything that he's in. I haven't seen Ozark.
No, Natalie, I have not watched Ozark either.
I've told you guys, you've got to do it.
No, we know.
I know. I totally get it.
But we don't. He is a pig.
Can't.
The way he spoke to us was so disgusting, and we had to go and watch Couples Retreat.
Yes, which
and
is
that
a
was
terrible
like
movie.
being punched in the face by a movie.
And he knew it.
And yet we were being nice about it. And like you've acted, we just saw you act like you like this interview for a second, mate. Like, come on.
I know, you've got principles.
We do.
You're missing out.
Let's talk grudges, everybody. Let's talk grudges.
All right, long-standing grudges. It can be a person, it can be a place, it can be a thing. All right?
It can be Donna Hay.
It can be anything you want. So we are talking about long-standing grudges. Ask you at home to join in. Now we have a new one. We have a long-standing grudge with you. If you're listening right now...
And we know you're bitter people.
Well, of course you are. You wouldn't listen to the show otherwise. And we offered chicken, Sean.
$150 worth of KFC, I mean, please.
We had a couple of
amazing.
We had a couple of lots to give away for that, but obviously no one wanted it.
How much more enticement do you need? Just unload your grudge.
13, 24, 10, but do what you do.
A person, a dog down the dog park. We don't care.
Yeah. Harry, here is his work. When Harry first started working with us, very positive, but now he's just bitter and twisted, about to leave. So.
Yeah, he leaves on Friday.
I'm really happy this way.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. A few days left. No.
So tell us about your grudge. Firstly, tell us about when this grudge started, Harry.
Year 4. So it's probably the 21st or 22nd anniversary of this grudge.
Yes.
What happened?
Yeah. Sorry, it's hard to talk about.
You do you.
Just little Harry riding his bike to school, and cops a bit of abuse from a particular. I'm not going to name the business. Cops some abuse from a trades services van.
Can you mouth this to us?
Yeah, I'll say the words. I'm not saying on radio the words, but here we go. Ready? Did you get that?
No.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, gotcha.
Will you mouth it? His mouth's weird.
Oh, Nelly, just a hand gesture.
Was that right? Did I get it right?
So do the gesture again. Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
But I mean,
I'm never
that's
using
not an appropriate thing to call a 9-year-old boy.
Yeah. No, I'm never using that business ever. Even though it was some silly employee for them.
Wow.
I won't
Just
do
yelling
it.
at a kid on his way to school.
Yeah. Terrible words.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Are you in need of trades? You live at home with your parents.
One day. Well, I made sure they didn't book them.
Yeah.
That's what I made sure.
Trades.
Yeah.
Well, you've really impacted their business, Harry.
You've never. Harry's never owned a thing that required a trade. So, you know.
Let's catch up with Sophie in Yanchep.
Yep, Sophie in Yanchep.
Yep.
Hey, Soph.
Good morning.
Hey, Soph.
Now, Soph, you're bearing a bit of a grudge. We love it. What's wrong?
I am. It's a man that works in the canteen at work. I try and dodge him to serve me because I always think I'm going to be hungry when he serves me because he always gives me half a portion. Last night I said, could I please have 2 scoops of gravy on my chips and dry meat? And he only gave me 1.5. I specifically said 2.
And 1.5.
Couldn't have been clearer.
Can I ask a question right now? And this is to the world. Why is gravy so expensive these days? And why are people guarding it with their life and giving us dribbles of gravy? Gravy is mostly powdered with water. That is ridiculous, Sophie. You deserve your 2 spoonfuls of gravy because I heard what you said then. Dry meat. Dry meat needs moisture.
I nearly choked.
Of course you did, sweetheart. You're a lady.
Dry.
I'm big on the gravy thing. Like, we're all big on the gravy thing. Can I ask you about, do people think that you can, when they're serving it and they're putting the ladle of gravy over, that you can have too much gravy? Because I don't think that's a thing.
There is never too much gravy. If there is one chip in a bucket of gravy, that's perfect.
I mean, it's soup, but still. We feel your pain, Sophie.
Oh, but people guarding more gravy with their lives. We're charging to the roof for gravy.
Yeah.
There's another burger shop. I hold a grudge with this burger shop, actually.
Turns out you hold quite a few grudges.
I do, because their gravy is so super expensive, And then imagine the size of a Peter's vanilla cup.
Yes,
that sort of size. Yep. That's the size it comes in. They charge like $6 for it, right? For that. And then I wrote a furious message to them on their app because I got probably 2 teaspoons of gravy. It couldn't have been a mistake. That was just someone going, here's a dribble of gravy for $6. I was so enraged anyway. They wrote back to me and said, we're so devastated.
Here's a 44-gallon drum of gravy.
For you. And they said, please come in and show this and get your free gravy. And I went, not on your life.
Go back for your free gravy. The reason you did it on the app was the anonymity.
Not on your life.
I don't want the confrontation. No. All right, 13 24 10. We're going to take Nikki?
Yeah, we're going to take Nikki.
Nikki, hello.
Hello, how you going?
Good,
Great, Nick.
Good,
okay, we're ready. Who's your grudge against?
It's so ridiculous. Okay, so it is with SeaWorld on the Gold Coast.
Yeah,
the entire theme park.
What have they ever done to anything?
We were there for a family holiday, which would have been 25 years ago.
Yeah.
So I would have been 11 or so at the time. And I was obsessed with dolphins, and we went to one of the shows that were obviously the dolphins doing tricks and things, and then the trainers would get an audience member out of the crowd, usually a young child, to come up and feed the dolphins and swim with the dolphins, and they even did this cool thing where they would kind of like shoot you through the water while you're sort of riding a dolphin.
Oh, yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, okay.
I bet they don't do that anymore.
That's
but yeah,
exciting.
keep going.
But it was so cool. So Mum and Dad were like, you know what, why don't we come back for the afternoon show? We'll line up really early and we'll see if we can get Nick, in with the dolphins.
Yeah.
So sounded like an absolute dream come true. So we did. We got there really early for the afternoon show, spoke to the trainers and everything, and we were like, oh my God, this is on. And then when it came to pick someone out of the crowd, they picked my little brother.
Oh, come on, Nikki. Maintain the rage, Nikki. Never forget.
You've always got to be the youngest.
Yes.
I was miserable. I was dirty at him, and then I was dirty at Mum and Dad, and then I was like, you know what? This is SeaWorld's fault.
Yeah.
And I've never forgotten it. It comes up every time we talk about our Gold Coast holiday.
Yeah.
And next year, I'm actually taking my family to the Gold Coast. And
But you're not going to see
Don't see the dolphins.
I'm like, we're not going to that bloody dolphin show.
No.
You know what? That's when you first discovered it was a man's world. That's what it is.
That's right.
At such a young age.
Once again.
Yep.
Once again.
Once
Glass
again.
ceiling.
Once again, ladies.
Ruined your dolphin dreams. Thanks so much, Nikki. Shall we? Let's check in with Lauren as well. Lauren from Chittering. Hello, Lauren.
Hi.
Hi, Lauren.
All right, Lauren. Look, unload your grudge on us. Who are you mad at for a long time?
In fact, it wasn't actually me. It was my 6-year-old at the time.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming up 11 now. He was a big crier when I would leave him at school. Did it for about, 4 years.
Yeah. Well, you know what it does, though? Even though you're like, oh, stop crying, it shows everyone, God, he loves me.
I know, but
I'm the best parent.
It's shattering at the same time.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
This particular day, I dropped him off at pre-primary, and I was getting really, really distraught with the crying every day because, I could hear him screaming in the car park.
Oh, yeah, it's awful.
Anyway, so it was like double classroom and they shared a play area. So I went in one door with him and then he got distracted. So I snuck around out through the outdoor area and came back through the other classroom.
Yeah.
And I was like, great, that was amazing. I didn't have to deal with the tantrum, the tears, nothing. I came back later that day to pick him up from school and the first words out of his mouth were, "You left me."
So you
held a grudge for like 6 hours.
Grudge was against you.
You left me.
You left me.
I left him.
Like he hadn't gotten on that you were doing that every day?
No, apparently not.
You left me.
Yeah, the betrayal. The betrayal. He just snuck out.
I can't believe they didn't take him off you.
Lauren, it's so funny when they you drop the kids off at pre-primary and they've never been apart from you.
Yes.
Remember that trouble I had with Oliver?
He jumped the fence.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he
escaped.
prized open a door that was locked.
Yeah, totally locked.
Which is amazing.
And I had to leave here after work like straight away and had to go
I go
to
look
school.
on the streets. It's like when people are posting things about a dog on Facebook.
Yes, exactly right. And it was weird because Cooper was in the year above and and they did everything together. You would have thought he'd be excited to go to school because that's where Coop was. But
100%.
no.
Comes down to be apart from his mum.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.